This episode, special episode of the Note Closure Show on a Money Monday. We're excited to have you guys here today. Today, I have to thank Don McAlpin about this episode. He asked me to do a specific episode on a recent tape that we uploaded to our Basecamp group for our WC crew members, our monthly membership and our coaching students. We'll upload tapes to them as we get them in. And this is another tape that they can cherry pick and take a look at. And Don's like, hey, can you go through the reverse mortgages a little bit more in depth? So I thought I would do that this morning. So thanks, Don, for posting that out there. And guys, if you do send comments or have questions, I do like to answer them on the episodes, either video, audio, or one form or fashion for you, so that you walk away educated and more knowledgeable about what it is. Because the worst thing is if you've got a question and don't ask it, that's the dumbest question not to ask. Because if you've got the question other people do, and you guys should know by now, I like answering your questions to help you make the most of what we're going. So anyway, so a little bit of background on this tape. This came in from one of our hedge fund connections. They buy non-performing reverse mortgages in bulk. This is a tape. And how it goes is I follow up with the seller at least once a month, sometimes twice a month, but usually once a month. And it's just a simple kind of, hey, what do you have that you're looking to sell this month or this quarter? And he always asks me, okay, tell me what states you're looking at. Now, it's two things here. Is always funny is hedge funds and guys that sell stuff, they should have a list, and they will occasionally send an email blast out with one note that they've got on their books they're trying to sell. And it could be a non-performing first, it could be a non-performing reverse mortgage. It varies. But they don't necessarily, every month the same conversation is, hey, what states are you looking for? So it's always like, hey, what do you have on your books this quarter, this month? Here's the states that I'm looking at. And that, my states are, maybe not a big surprise for you: Texas, the Carolinas, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana. I'll even look at Oklahoma, but Florida, Georgia, like I said, the Carolinas, Virginia, Alabama, Arkansas. It just depends on what we're, Tennessee. And that's what I'll send him. And he'll send over a tape of, what they have available. They have multiple asset managers as this hedge fund. So sometimes I'll get stuff that I haven't seen before, that somebody else is moving. But what's great about this, and I'll get into it, is that they're willing to give me their color. Kind of what do I need to make a bid on these, and what pricing expectations do they have to have an offer submitted, which I really like that. If they can be honest, hey, here's where their number is at. They know they're not going to sell an asset below what their number is. To break even, here's a break even number, and your number needs to come in a little bit above that, depending on the situation. Which I like that. I mean, it's always great when you've got clear pricing. Now, some of the stuff I don't like their pricing. I think it's too expensive. Others, it's pretty decent. So I'll go through that in a second. But I just wanted to share, it's just that follow up on a regular basis. Now, they've been around for, 20 years. I've been buying from them. They've gone by a couple different names, but it's the same cast of characters over there, and they're all quality individuals and easy to deal with. One of the great things that I love about most of their files that they have is they're going to provide usually a BPO, an updated title report, and even on these reverse mortgages, oftentimes there'll be an inspection report. And there'll be other things like I can ask for the, all the servicing notes, the legal notes, where they got in the legal process. It's just a very transparent sales aspect, and I absolutely love working with them. I wish I could buy more from them, but sometimes I just don't like the price, and that's just what it is. They, they've got a number they got to be at, and that's totally fine. But I've probably bought, probably closer to 50 notes from them over the 16 years. Yeah, I would say it's probably been about that. But I've known them, drank plenty of alcohol with them at different conferences in the past, and just absolutely known them from a while. So anyway, so to give you a bit of an idea here, let me pull this up here and share my screen so you guys can kind of see. Let's see here. Let me pull up the actual map here that I have. So a bit of an idea. So a bit of a rundown. Now, this is the stuff that they sent over, and you can see this is what they had as far as states. Now, they have others in other states, but this is what my asset manager is managing it, and they got a few other stuff. So they got a couple out in Arizona, a couple in Kansas. You can see Uh, one there on the border, Arkansas and Louisiana, a couple in Alabama, a couple in Georgia, and quite a few in God's way in Florida. Now, I have not been very bullish in Florida lately because of a couple of things, as you can imagine, right? Foreclosure time frames, cost of repairs, and then you also look at insurance costs, the cost to insure and stuff like this. Now, I still ask for it because I still spend a lot of time in Florida. We still go to South Florida. We still go to Central Florida. I like Florida. I mean, I'll probably at some point I have bought houses out here and had quite a bit of stuff out here in the past. And I think the numbers change. I think Florida is starting to hit some skids with days on market and things like that. So I think there's some opportunity to keep your eye out on some things. Now, I've bought stuff in Texas from them. I've bought stuff in Indiana from them. It's been pretty decent stuff for the most part, but there is a lot of trash. Now, what is a reverse mortgage? Let's first go into that and educate you on the difference in buying a reverse mortgage versus buying a traditional non-performing mortgage. Okay, and buying a traditional first mortgage, you're going to primarily be buying a first lien, right? And the borrower is either going to be living in it to be occupied or it's going to be vacant, right? And your goal as a note investor is what? Is to most of the time buy that note at that non-performing note as a discount and get the borrower back on track, right? Making payments, work to get them reinstate the loan, bring some monthly payments on the front end for skin the game, and then hold it for a period of time where you're getting, at least a 15, 16% cash and cash return based on the payments that come in over the next 3 to 10 years, right? Now, if they're not living in the house, then you work to get a deed in lieu or foreclose and take the asset back. And either A, you're buying it at a price that makes sense enough that if you sell it at the auction, you're going to make a decent return. But if it doesn't sell at the auction, nobody outbids you as the bidding bank, you take the asset back now you own it. Now you can get more than what the legal balance is for it, provide that the value is actually there. Okay. Now, the big thing that's different about a reverse mortgage is the borrower is deceased. Okay. A reverse mortgage is basically, it's like an annuity. People that get reverse mortgages are usually going to be, I always get this wrong, either 62 or 65 plus. They need to have a lot of equity in their house. When they do convert from a first mortgage, traditional, where they're paying monthly, to a reverse mortgage, they get a lump of cash, or they'll get payments paid to them from the lender on a monthly basis. So it turns into like an annuity for them. Now, what happens is that annuity payment, or the lack of needing to make mortgage payments anymore, I mean, it's not credit based. That's another thing that's nice about a reverse mortgage. If you got an elderly borrower who can qualify for one, who's facing it, it might be a great way for them to go get refinance you out if you own the first lien. Okay, if you've bought the mortgage on them. Okay, but in these cases, this tape is 100% reverse mortgages where the borrowers weren't making payments, they didn't have to make payments, and then lo and behold, they passed away. Now, what happens in a reverse mortgage situation is the heirs, the family members, have the first right to go back, pay off the mortgage or whatever is owed on the underlying balance. There is a mortgage payment associated with it that you start adding on what a monthly payment would be, but it's basically the term of the loan now becomes, it matures, and either the borrower's family needs to start making payments, or they need to pay off the mortgage, or they're going to foreclose on. Now, what happens a lot of times is what always happens in a lot of cases with elderly borrowers. They may not have any heirs. Their heirs may be fighting. They may not have a will, or these properties may go into probate. They may be outdated. They may be sitting vacant for a period of time. Okay. We bought one beforehand where there was 3 kids. The guy used to live in Houston. He moved to New York to be with his son. When he passed away, he didn't have a will. So the 2 daughters and his son were fighting over the property. We tried to get a deed in lieu. We got 2 of them to sign off on a deed in lieu, but they didn't. So we just went ahead and foreclosed. Now, that was in Texas. That was easy to foreclose on. The fastest foreclosure time frame on average across the country. But it just made sense. We were buying at a cheap enough price that we know if they didn't sign, we knew that we'd be able to foreclose pretty quickly. So you got to keep that in mind when you're buying these things. What's the foreclosure time frame? Has it started, or is it the beginning of the process, or where you are in the process? And the great thing is the Cam and his team will allow me, or they won't let me talk to the attorney. Well, actually, I've talked to the attorney before on some of these files, but they'll give me a straight up, honest approach. Yeah, here's where it is. Here's what's missing. There's an assignment missing. We're waiting on this. Yada yada, stuff like that. So I get this list in, and here's the map. I've batch geo mapped it. You can kind of see, and we'll dive more into it as we go through this later on. Okay, but I wanted to let me pull up the spreadsheet now. So let me go into the Excel spreadsheet. Here we go. So here's the spreadsheet that he sent me. Okay. What is it? Let me save it all, actually, because it's not showing everything. So what happens, he sends me this spreadsheet and stuff that's all across the country. Okay. It's basically 31 reverse mortgages. And what's great is he'll give me the lockbox code too on these. So I can actually go in and investigate these, drive by it, or send somebody by to take a look at it if I want to. Now he gives me their loan number, and then I'll ask him. He doesn't give this to me on the front end, but I'll ask him what his reserve price is, and I'll pick a few of these out and say, "Hey, can you give me the reverse price on these?" Like I asked him for the reverse price, give me the reserve price of the ones in Florida. Because in Florida, I could drive by it or get somebody to take a look at it. If I see something else, I have him, and he'll just tell me, "Hey, here's what the price is at. Here's what you need to be at or above to potentially get a successful bid." And some of these make sense, and some of these just don't make any sense at all. Okay, so the borrower's name, the address, city, state it's in. You can see Arizona, Kansas, Florida, Arkansas, Alabama, a couple in Georgia, and then a bunch in Florida. Well, I like God's waiting room, even though there's some things in here I dislike about it. There's things I like about it quite a bit, right? The property county, and then he tells me what their BPO came in. Now, the BPO, he'll literally, if I ask, he will send me a copy of their BPO. He will send me a copy of their title report. He will send me a copy of their inspection if they had got an interior inspection. So I can kind of see. Now, inspection reports, you might as well flip a coin. Some are great and some are downright ugly. All right. Some will show you good photos of the interior. Others it'll be all blurry. It just depends on the agent. So I always like to try to send somebody by to take it. If it's in Texas, I've driven 2 hours, 3 hours to go look at a property just because why not? I'll go take a look at it. Worst case, I'll get a video that I can upload and have more carnal knowledge of that asset that I know exactly if it needs a lot of work or doesn't need a lot of work. Okay. So BPO, their total payoff. This is basically their estimated legal balance. Okay. Remember, it's legal balance. It's the amount the loan was made for on the reverse mortgage, and then you're going to have some outstanding payments depending on how outstanding it's been. Now, some of these, like I said, there's been 20 years since the borrower passed away. Okay, so they've been fighting, things have been fighting out with the estate, or it's gone through probate. Some have been 4 years, some have been 10 years. I've seen a whole variety of these things take place, and you see a lot of these. So they give us, which is great, they give us the legal aspect of it. Okay, pending first legal prejudgment, filed prejudgment. Some of the stuff is pretty good. They also tell me the occupancy. Okay, if it's vacant, 99% of these are going to be vacant. And then this one's a land lot, which I was kind of excited about because when I saw Orlando, I'm like, oh, I can go there quite a bit. I can take a look at it. But no, lo and behold, it's just a lot. It's not, there was a house that stood on there at some point, but it's no longer there anymore. Okay. The P&I payments, the escrow payments, none of these are in there because they're not making payments, right? They tell you the due date. So it kind of tells you how fast somebody passed away. The last payments were due. So like 2022, 20, 20, 21, 19, 15. Like 2015, it's about 9 years. That one's in Duval County out in Jacksonville on Atlantic Beach. Okay. So if you go back up here to the top, then they say last payment received, maturity date, these all matured, the current UPB, unpaid principal balance, deferred principal, deferred interest. I mean, they do sell first liens too, not besides just reverse mortgages. So all that stuff's going to be in there. But for these, they're basically vacant for the most part, empty on this. I mean, property type, mobile home, manufactured, vacant land, lots, beds, baths, square footage, year built. If there's a garage, they'll throw there. But that's the information that I get. Okay. So the thing you got to keep in mind with these is that your goal on this is now, well, is it an asset that I can buy at a value that, like I said, there's only really two exit strategies on this. One is foreclosing and getting it sold at the auction, or B, foreclosing, taking the asset back and making profit, fixing up and selling off. Okay. So our number one strategy, which we usually like, the whole reperforming side, that's out the window. You don't even worry about that. Okay. So it goes now to, okay, what's the property look like? Is it decent? How bad a condition is it? And what do they want for it? Okay. It's basically, you're got a little bit longer process depending on what state it's in with the foreclosure process. So you got to take a look at that. So that's where it comes down to running numbers and asking for the reserve bid price, and then looking at the percentages. What's the percentage of value? These numbers right here. Now, I made the mistake. I thought he sent me the reserve bid on all of them. He didn't. He just sent me the ones in Florida because I asked for lockbox codes here in Florida. That's what I get. So before we start diving into this, does anybody have any questions? Do y'all understand where we're kind of going with this? Hey, Carmela, good to see you. Hey, Don. Hey, Mark. I have to thank Anna. Anna went out and looked at the Jacksonville, Florida ones. And I don't know if she's updated that, I give her Basecamp full. Let me see if she has, give me 1 second. I think she might have gone and updated this. So if she gives you a bit of an idea. Okay. Did she go back and change these or not? Maybe not. Let me refresh this. No, but you can kind of see, okay, so let's look at some of these. Can you make sure you can see my screen? Yeah, okay. So like some of these are in Jacksonville. So like this one from the road doesn't look too bad, right? And then this is the walkthrough. So let's look at the walkthrough video. It allows us to see it. So walking into it, you see these are, outdated, but it's not in bad shape. This one does not look so bad. Just needs a look at that older bathroom. Most of these have all been winterized. I mean, this one's down in Florida, so there's not a lot of bad cold, but still, it's just an outdated kitchen. Gotta love that old ceiling fan in the kitchen area, right? The wood paneling. All right. Let's see. I think this is another part of that. Yeah, the red brick house. I think this is part of the house as well. Oh, this is a different one. So good. This is good. So you can see, and this one's a different house. It's a little bit, I guess that bathrooms looks a little bit newer. Yeah. I mean, it's not so bad. Oh, you gotta love that toilet. Tasty. But then you can see there's been holes in this thing where the copper's been ripped out. Yeah. There oftentimes be a lot of stuff left in the houses. Windows busted out. So you got to be careful, and that's why it's always important to put eyes on an asset. And that's what's great about these is I can get the lockbox code to go look at it now. Yeah, you see windows busted. They left the bed in there. Hopefully, that's not the person that died in there. On one time, we were looking at a house up in Waco that was reverse mortgage where the bar had passed away, and Scott, who's one of my students, he went by there. He actually caught a picture of a ghost, a shadow figure in his photo, scared the shit out of him. So now, look, a lot of times this will scare people off. Oh, I got to do a rehab. In some cases, the rehab, it may be all cosmetic. Like that wall. Okay, there's a lot of stuff there people can't see behind. You got to change out some glass, but after that, it's not really that. I mean, that doesn't look so bad there. It could be a whole lot worse. Let's look at another one. See, I got a picture of this one. This is walking into the house. It's really sad because you see how people like, people have gone through these houses, just grab stuff. Small kitchen, something that's built on there. You can see the winterization report, inspection report by usually HUD, because that's what a lot of these reverse mortgages will be HUD mortgages. So that looks, yeah, that's the garage, I guess, garage slash. Surprised that's still in there. A lot of times we'll see a water heater gone. I wish these videos were a little bit longer, but hey, I'm not going to complain. I did not have to go there to do it. And let's see. We have another video. Yep, here's another video of another product. So hall closet. I don't know what's going on. I mean, that's fine. See, the one looks like it's in pretty good shape. Don't know what the exterior looks like. Door off a hinge is not a big deal. Air conditioner furnace is there. That's a good bonus. Sometimes they've been ripped out, but those look like it's there, which is great. Now remember, this is vacant property. The bank has the right to go and secure the property. So same thing. When you become this, your bank, you can go and secure. So this one looks pretty good. Like it's relatively clean based on what we could see on the minute video there. So what are your thoughts and comments about these so far, everybody? I mean, they're not so bad, right? Maybe you should go back and label them for me, and I can know exactly which ones they are. So, I mean, some of them are scary, and then of course some of them are just pretty decent. And she says she was able to go buy like 4 in Jacksonville. 3 were okay, 1 was pretty bad. It was salvageable. Now, looking at the interior, yeah, Don says they're better than tax deed properties. Yeah, often so. Yes, okay, yes. So let's look at these. Let's start looking at the numbers here. So and so you got to be very specific, obviously, taking a look at what do the numbers make sense, and then you look at the inspection reports, okay? Or I'll ask some things like I saw one on here had 26 acres or 24.75 acres attached to it, and I was like, oh, that's a pretty decent price for 24 acres. Yes, it's in Florida, so it's going to be a little bit woody and humid, but still, the price point for that was not too bad. If you could pick it up at a decent price. So let's go through here and start running our numbers. Shall we do a little bit of that stuff so we can kind of highlight the ones? So we're just going to go ahead and get rid of the blanks. We can always go back and ask. I can always go back and ask them. So if you see something on this time you want to make an offer on, let me know. I'm glad to reach out to find out what the reserve price and get any information I can for you. Okay. So if we start looking at these, we want to look probably the percentage of BPOs versus payoffs. That's the thing. If you look at the percentage versus payoff, those are some pretty low ass payoffs. Okay. So let's look at the number. Let's calculate this number. So let's go in here. Okay, come on. I'm going to insert 2 rows in here so we know roughly what that number is going to be. Okay. So percentage of payoff, we're going to say dollar amount. Dollar equity. So if they're looking at what they want, so if you're going to take BPO minus the reserve. That's a dollar amount. And then this one, dollar equity. So this is going to be your payoff minus the reserve. Oh, hang on. What did happen there? Escape. Okay, let's do this again. So it's equal to the reserve. I'm sorry, the total payoff minus what they want for the thing. So you can see, okay, there we go. That's more like it. Okay, so now we know this, like this one. So they want 110 for this one. It's worth 160. They owe 153. So that's a pretty safe one that if you buy it at 110, you're going to foreclose at the 153 and a little bit of change, depending on how long it takes you to foreclose. And there's not really a ton of equity there. All right. There's a dollar amount of let's see profit. Let me change this from equity because that's not really accurate. Profit above payoff, and this is going to be your profit above below BPO. All right, so you buy it at 110. It's worth 160. There's about a $50,000 profit margin. Hopefully, it's in good shape, right? If it's not in good shape, then we have an issue. Okay. Now, if you buy it, you probably remember if you sell at the auction, you make about 43,000. That's not so bad, depending on where that one's located at. So let's run these numbers all the rest of the way down. Okay. Now, what you want to do is look at the difference here. So some of these, the payoffs are going to be higher than the actual BPOs, right? So let's do, I didn't do one other thing here. So let's do, I know what we need to do. Let's do insert equity amount. And that is going to be really easy to, we're going to go over and do the BPO minus the legal. Or total payoff. Okay. So that you know if it's a positive or negative number. So if it's a negative number, there's negative equity. It means they owe more than the property's worth. That works in your favor if you want to take foreclose and take it back. Okay. Okay. So you see, most of these have negative equity, right? So like this one down here, reserve is 108. The value is 145. Total payoffs 350, right? I mean BPOs 145. Yeah, you listed the total payoff amount. You're going to get this, right? You're going to take this property back. So like this one, okay, so let me give you an example. This one, 1348 Sleepy Hollow Drive, Marianna, Florida. Let's just take this in Calhoun County. This is the one I was talking about. This is the one that's got the 26 acres of land or 25 acres of land. It's out in the middle of boonies, right? You're not going to find any photos of it, okay? Even if you do a layered look to it, there you go. All right. So it's this house. Now, let's see here. I believe he shared the BPO on this. Let me look at, hang on a second here. Yeah. Okay, so let me show this. So on this one, since you're not going to find anything, you want to ask for the inspection report. So I asked for the inspection report, and here's what it looked like. And it's not really exciting. It tells you the information about the property, okay? This went out there October of last year, so it's about a 7-month-old. Personal property president, yeah. Required signs posted and visited, yes. His garage door property secured, yes. No. Pool, no. Lockbox, yes. No. Sign sheet posted, yes. Property winterized, no. Property interior in broom swept condition, no. So you can see kind of a lot of that information that you'd ask about. Is there a furnace? Not available. Is there an AC unit? Not available. Is there a hot water heater? Not available. Or they didn't look at it. So you got to flip through these photos. Now, this is why it's scary, because look how close some of these photos are and how further back they are. It's hard to tell. Getting a realtor to take good photos is hard. So you can see this looks like this is the living room area. All right, door, green door, hard to tell, but it looks like it's just got a lot of stuff in it. I don't know what this picture is. It's just a horrible, they don't really have a good picture of the house. What the heck does he teach? Picture of the sky, picture of the roof. I don't know what's going on with this stuff. Flower bed was rotted there. Okay. I can't tell. Is that a gate that's busted over there or a pen? Right. So personal property. Okay. So you got the back side of the house, needs some paint. This has there's official address. It's kind of a normal home built in that time. That looks like that's the garage with a bunch of junk in it. Okay. Or a shed. Yeah. It's all junk. Yeah, it's the same picture of the garage. This guy's got so many pictures of the garage. So there's what's concerning right there. Looking at that electrical box, there might not be an air conditioner attached to it, and you may not have. Look how old that box is, or the wires. That doesn't look safe, right? I guess this is a second story. Oh, this is a deck. It goes up the deck and looks like the deck's caved in on that. Yeah, that's what that is. Well, it's old, and there was a storm that went through there, so it got the deck. This is not the roof. This is the deck that walks around the wraparound porch. Okay, but the rest of the house looks pretty decent. You can see that kind of falling through there. It needs some TLC, right? There's no doubt this needs some TLC. The thing that interests me on this one is the 26 acres, or the 25.75. There's about $4,000 in back taxes, because you can still see. So now we move to the interior, man. So some of these drawers have just been dumped as people have been going through it. It looks like that's the bathroom. Got ceramic tile, didn't look so bad there. Get this big built-in vanity, corner shelves. Look at that flowery couch, bay window. I still want somebody to take a look at. You got still the clothes in the house. That's always the creepy thing. Recliners, there's a nice running thing there for you. There you go. Treadmill. Kitchen. There you go. So that's where you got to take a look at this. This kitchen doesn't look like it's too bad. It's a lot of clutter, but I can't tell if that is if that's granite. Oh, that's just, I think it's just style. It's just a regular countertop. Here's some coffee for you. Air filter. I guess it's going upstairs. Can't tell. Oh, it's the kitchen, I guess. Anyway, so you can see there's a lot of junk to it. It's not a really good. There are not a lot of really good photos to tell you what kind of, if it's in good shape. Like, that's why I like having a video. You can see if the holes are punched into it. You get a lot better aspect of it. But what do you think about this? If we go back over here, do we get a photo? Let me pull something else up here. Here's the BPO. So there you go. Now the BPO on this, they don't have it accurate. They say it's a mobile home. Okay. But they say values at about 100, somewhere about 131 to 145 if you wait for 90 days. The land value is only 34,000. So this BPO is not accurate because they're not figuring in the actual acreage. They only say 10-acre lot size. Well, it's much bigger than that. Okay, I looked at the county. It's 25 acres. That's what got me really excited about this. So let's see if we can't get some decent photos from the BPO. Once again, those are the pictures. They just do a shitty job of putting the wrong spacing photos. Okay, that's the comps. That's not what we're looking for. Don't care about comps. There's the aerial view of it. You can kind of see sale one, sale two, sale three. So there's not a lot of comps on this one being kind of rural. Okay. You give us any more? Nope, that's the BPO. Not a very good BPO because it's not anywhere close. This is a bigger house than these single one ones. Okay, so we go back up here, and this says, give me a second here. They say mobile home. This is not a mobile home. It's a two-story house. Yeah, this is just about worthless. Built in 1980. You can't even see that. It's yeah. So, but you get this stuff, all right. And last thing that they provided to me was the title report, pre-foreclosure report, 1348 Sleepy Hollow Drive, Mariana. Great app, they said. Basically closed in right fixed home, second mortgage lender, mortgage MERS for HUD. Usually that's going to get wiped out. You foreclose on the first one. So that's an issue. You can see Richard K. Floyd died. Date of death was December 27th, 1999. So you can see that they've been passed away for 24 years. Okay. And that Richard Floyd, I'm sorry, that Sheila Lee Daniels K has been appointed as the personal rep. Okay. So the incapacitated person passed away. All right. Taxes due. Yeah. There's the assignment of mortgage. Not a big deal. List pendants was filed. Yeah. So that's a normal HUD report there for you on that. Pre-foreclosure report. So basically, Sheila K. Daniels. Let's see if there's anything in there. There's tax information. Yeah, back tax about $2,300. Not that big. Why there's not more, I don't know. I guess the tax has been paid for a while. So I'm always going to have a. You see, this shows the warranty deed sold. That was pulled up and so sold. So it's not really that big a deal on that aspect. So, but that's the good information to get, right? Usually, it's got good pictures. Well, 50% it's got good pictures, but you can still get a rough idea what to take a look at. So let's go back over here to our spreadsheet. Okay. Now, does it make sense on this one? If I want to, it's worth 145, as they say. Payoff total is 350. If I can buy this for 108, I mean, if I want to own 25 acres, 26 acres in Calhoun County, yeah, that makes sense for me to buy that all day long because I'm basically buying it 31% of payoff. I know I'm going to foreclose on this, okay? But I'm buying it at 74 cents on the dollar of their BPO value. I think the BPO is low, okay? But that's a possibility for me. Now, that's as is. I mean, it needs some work. We all know it needs some work. I don't know how much work it needs. I need to have somebody take a look at it. It's, I might have to drive or jump on a plane and fly to the panhandle of Florida to take a look at it. Get somebody better to drive out and take a look at it. Do a walk around video. So let's look at, first of all, where the percentage of BPO is below 70% and the payoff is roughly at that too. It's either the payoff is below that. So if you're buying this, you're going to get a good chunk of money if it's sold at the auction. Okay. So like all these are below, they should all, anything that's above really 70 cents on the dollar, profit below, profit above payoff. That's what you're looking at here. So yeah, they think it's, payoff is great, but that's not necessarily, I'm not going to get the full payoff on these. You're not going to see that profit unless it's sold at the auction. And that's where this comes in. So if they want, like this one is 110, give you why this doesn't make sense. They want 69 cents on the dollar. Okay. It's worth 160. All right. or I'm sorry, it's worth, they say at 150, 160, the payoff's 153. You'd be buying this at 110 or at 69 cents of the dollar. So is making 43, sorry, 33, yeah, 43,000 worthwhile in this one? Well, let's take a look. See what if we can find out about this one. This is in Gainesville. And this is a picture taken from August of 2023. And it doesn't look like it's too bad. The front shrubs look pretty bad, right? Roof is a little old. Let's see if we can't go over here. But in Gainesville, it's kind of normal houses, isn't the neighbors, right? It doesn't look too bad. It could be good. It could be bad. I don't know. We need to get some information. I get somebody to drive by that. If it's in decent shape, great. But here's the thing they're looking back at too, is going back to our legal aspect of things in these. They're all basically just starting. They're just starting the process. Okay. So pending first legal, that's the big thing. As of April 1st, they're all like, now the prejudgment ones, that might be a little bit better one. Prejudgments. Let's look at those. Let's just filter our list for prejudgments. What happened there? All right, so the vacant lot. I'm not really worried about the vacant lot. Let's get rid of the vacant lots. All right. So now, if we look at the numbers on here, like Panama City, let's look at it. What's this look like? 5120, Bay County, Panama City, Florida. So is this? Oh yeah, I looked at this property. I looked at this one. So it's this little property on about an acre, 3 acres maybe. This is from 2019. Okay. There we go. That's a better view. They got a greenhouse over here. But this, I mean, it's, small little house. I mean, they've got some pride of ownership. They got the grass is clean. They've hauled this stuff out to the road to get rid of it. Do you want to own a property in Panama City? Maybe not. They figured that value's at 150. What do they want for it? This one they want 68,000 for this one. Okay. $68. Payoff is 174. BPO is 150. So that one's got quite a chunk of change. 82,000, right? Yeah. Yeah. 150 minus the 68. Yeah. So that one's not so bad if it's decent on the true values, right? Yeah, depending on what kind of condition is, and I haven't gotten anything on that one, so I don't know the interior. I've got an interior inspection report. Let's look at another thing on this one. Let's go back here to our maps. $5122 highway. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,040 square foot. It's on just over an acre, built in 1950, single family. So it's an older home. So that one, I mean, depending on the days on the market, they owe a couple of grand in back taxes, not that big a deal. Let's do one other thing. Let's see where it is on the map. So it's right across from Lucky's Bingo. Yeah, see, so you start getting into here you go, start getting into the city here. So it's just in the outskirts of the town. Well, this is old photos, 2007. I don't know how. That's Callaway, Florida. So it might not be a very big city. So as you go into the city, you can kind of see, okay, it's got some life. So then you'd want to talk if you like that number and it's in a decent spot. That's that's not a bad deal there. That might not be bad to if you had to foreclose because it's at the best profit margin, right? This one might make sense to do if you like that area. If you don't buy in that area, don't worry about it. Also, you got to look at what's the insurance costs to be and how long is it till you foreclose. So that's the thing I would be asking. Hey, I see prejudgment. Can you tell me about where you are in the foreclosure process? Does it make sense? Does it not make sense? Okay. Now let's look at this other one here. The reserve on this one is 105. This one is located where? In McAlpin, Florida. I don't know where that's located. So let's look at this. Well, hey, Don, you want to buy one in McAlpin, Florida? uh, your name, your city it's named after you, Donald. All right, let's see where this one is at. Who wouldn't want to buy something Carson City? Yeah, I'd buy something Carson City. Just say the hell I did. All right, this one's out in the boonies. And yeah, I know it needs an end. Yeah, I know it needs an E, but still. All right. Can we get anything? This is probably, yeah, probably not mapped. So no, no map. Okay, so let's go back here. So we don't have any maps. So this is 1617. Let's see if we can see any images. 16277. 139th Drive. No. So it's a little remote. Let's go back here one more time. So this is a 2137 square foot house. Probably 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Okay. Any information on how many acres it's on? It's a mobile, it says a mobile home. Four acres. So 4 acres. Galpin, Florida. Looks like somebody tried to sell this at one point. 16277. Oh, okay. So I don't know what kind of condition that's in. It's a little remote. That's the thing I keep in mind. It's a little remote. But if you bought it at the 110, is that what they wanted, right? Yeah, 105. Payoff total 180. If you sold it at 180 or 170, that's still a pretty decent profit margin of $40,000-$50,000 after taxes, provided it's in good condition. Now, I no idea. Let's look at the map on this thing here. That's one. So you can see that's the one in Panama City. We're looking at Callaway. It's near the coast. All right. Let's look see a little bit closer on that one. Yeah. See, you're only a couple minutes away from that one that's on an acre that we were talking about a second ago. Yeah, there it is right there. Alfred, Mariana, Quincy. Tallahassee. There you go. This is the one we were just talking about. McAlpin. Okay. So this one's a little obviously further out. But that's probably that 4-acre tract right there. There you go. That's it right there. I guess that's it. Your 2,100 square foot mobile home out there. So you're kind of by yourself. Maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't. I like to go look at, if we can find something in the bigger cities a little bit easier, so it's something so remote. Let's go back over here and change some of the stuff up. Okay, so let's get rid of these to everyone. All right. So now let's look at some of these that might make a little more sense. So Gainesville, Leesburg, Alfred. Let's get rid of some of these cities we don't recognize. So let's just focus on the ones like Definiak Springs. I know what that is. Jacksonville. We already looked at the Palm. So you look at Sanford because that's near Florida. That's near Orlando. Let's just look at those. Okay. So now these are probably the better 7 to look at. Okay, now let's look at the percentage of these. Okay. Now this one, they want you buying at 87% of the BPO. They want 130 for it. BPO is 150. Payoff is 151. That's just too skinny. That's less. That's a 20 grand for that. That's a big no. Right off the bat, because it just doesn't make any sense to foreclose. It's going to take more than that, right? What's it look like? Yeah, this little, I looked at this one here. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad looking home, but it's just too skinny. Just too skinny a deal. That's from 5 years ago. But 20 grand, that doesn't give you any room whatsoever. Okay. What you have to do is look at this one here. This is at 29 grand. They want 66 for this one. BPO is 95, payoffs 105. This is also one in Jacksonville, 4155 Condega Drive. I think this one is in a rougher area. Or is this the mobile home by itself? I can't remember. Yeah, this is that little pink one. This is a little, we looked at this one. Yeah. I think Anna had a video of it. So this is the little pink house. I mean, not bad. I mean, it's kind of common down there. This is from January of last year. So just over a year old, but it needs some work. But it's, once again, that's almost, what did I say that was? Too skinny. 66 and or 95. Yeah, so it's $29,000 before you're legal, and that's just too skinny. Okay. Let's go down here. So let's look at this 58%. They want 46. Is this the lot? So the BP on this is 80. Payoff is 292. What the heck is this? So you got it. Yeah. So this is a mobile home, 16509 Village Green Drive. Yeah. This is from 5 years ago. Okay. So it's not too bad looking from that, but you don't know what kind of condition. I mean, it's pretty normal throughout that part of Jacksonville, which is okay. But once again, you don't know. This is why you need to know condition more so than anything else. Okay. condition where they got in the foreclosure process. Let's look at one more here. So this one is, they want 98. This one is 98. BPO is 142. Payoff total is 211. In Sanford. That's near me here. Yeah, it's this little small house right next to a church. Yeah, it might not be bad. Maybe broken windows there. They're all kind of that same style, right? So that might not be a bad one there. If it's in, depending on what kind of interior condition it's in. Okay, let's look at one more. A little fast. That's a possibility. Because look at this one. If you bought this one and it's 142, so if you really do want to take it back, great. You pay 98 for it. There's $52,000 there. You foreclose, take it back. You sell at the auction, that's going to be a nice chunk without having to do any work, right? And then let's go up to, where's this one? 144. Where do we look at this one? Oh, no, Barkwood. Okay. So 144 is what they want. 216 and 239. Okay, so there you go. They all more in it. So if you want to take it back, great. So this one might not be bad. Yeah, that's that red house we looked at. So it might need some work, it might not. This is from 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. So 28 months ago. And if we go back here, let's take it back. It looks like, oh, we got some photos here. There you go. Look at that. So this is what it looked like. That's always nice when you find a listing of photos. 2 of 48. Don't know if it's in, there's the back there. Is that a hot tub or is that, I don't know. Yeah, I think we looked at that. It had a lot of stuff in it, but it could be a decent looking house depending on what kind of current condition it is. Yeah. Somebody tried to sell it. There you go. All right. So that one is probably our most desirable one. If we go back to this one, let's pull that up. So if we could pick this one up at the 144, it might be a pretty decent, yeah. Depend on how much work it needs. Okay. And you gotta look at days on market, what's going on in that area as well too for you. All right. But that's, that's what you're doing. You're looking at these, you're much more property intensive. It sucks that you don't have the the cash flow potential possibility. But then you look at rentals, look at the rental market there, days on market. Some of these might make more sense to hold it for a period of time versus trying to sell it if you're interested in that. All right. Any questions, any comments, concerns before I let you go for the day, ladies and gentlemen? But that's the thing. You get into looking at these. It's a matter of going through a lot of that stuff back and forth. Don asked, do you usually get the reverse mortgage amount when looking at reverse mortgage notes? If not, how do you derive your bid price? So they're going to tell you, they should provide the payoff amount and the reserve amount. It all depends on the seller. I mean, like if you're buying, like let's just look at David Polio. SN, he's marketed a few. He doesn't give you the reserve price. This seller does, and I asked them, and that's the thing you asked, Don, what are you looking for? Give me a price, whether it's so I'm not wasting my time. What kind of condition it's in. And that's these guys realize that not all these properties are in good condition, so it's better to have a reserve price, makes sure it makes sense or not. Okay. If not, then I'm going to go at 60% of the value, probably is what I'll probably look at, or 60 to 80% of the payoff, depending on what that number is. It's got to be in good shape. Obviously, if it's not in good shape and you order a BPO and it comes back in bad condition, then you can cancel. Okay. But probably 70% of the legal, balance, it goes into looking at where is that. These are in Florida, so I'm not going to really want to be above 70%. I'm going to find out where they're at in the legal process. So that's the thing. It's more of a foreclosure process. What's it going to cost me to foreclose? What's it going to cost me for insurance? What's it going to cost me for repairs? So it's almost like your old MAO offering, 70% of value minus repairs kind of thing. Okay. And then letting them bid, let them counter you back on a lot of that stuff. Does that make sense for you, Don? I think it does. Good stuff. All right, guys and gals. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Hopefully it was valuable for you. If you have questions, let me know. I'm going to be a little bit limited this week on responses, but or shoot me a text message and I'll be glad to answer anything I can for you. All right. Thanks again so much. Have a great day. Stay out of trouble. And we'll see you guys at the top, everybody. Bye.